Welcome to episode 9 of the AdoreKnit Podcast, Late Knitting. I'm your host, Steph, also known as the Knitting Samurai on Ravelry, and AdoreKnit Steph on Instagram. It's been a little while, I know, we'll talk about that, but let me tell you what I've got in store for you this week. So a couple new cast-ons, works in progress, a finished object, a knit-along, a throwback style, some shop talk, and a scavenger hunt. So let's go straight to it. Okay, I actually wrote these show notes last Wednesday. It's Monday now. I had every intention of recording on Wednesday, which would have been my 10-day mark. And 4th of July, birthdays, everything got away from me. And so I didn't end up recording till today. But first day I have alone home to myself. I am wearing my newly sewn up, both armholes, ends woven in, washed and blocked, Whisper Tee. So this is by Vera Vacamali. I talked about it last time. I needed to sew those few things I just said to you, and this sweater is totally wearable. It is rather warm, but I think it will be a great fall sweater. I didn't do it today, but next time I wear this, I'll have to remember to put a little tank top on underneath, just because I feel like it's very low on me, because it is a bit, it's very, very loose. I've got 8-10 inches of positive ease in this, which is fine. That's the look right now, right? So I really like the color gradient that I worked into it. It's Knit Picks Felici, Sport Weight, and then Stroll. I knit this on size 3 needles, reading my my project notes, and I was crying because 3s were so small and I couldn't believe I had to go so small. So yeah, it's got some nice ruching along here. I did do you can't see my belly, a hem with that color. So it's nice. All in all, it's nice. So yeah, I'm wearing it. I'm gonna change out of it when we're done recording, but for this, I'm wearing it. So let's talk about what's new on the needles. The Desert Vista Dye Works knit along. You're allowed to do the monthly sock knit along. It's not just socks, you can do mittens or gloves as well. And so I have been wanting to make myself a pair of Mustang mittens, which is a pattern by, I don't think I wrote it down, and Lena Madison. That's what they look like on there, on the pattern. That's a pattern from Knit Scene. So I cast on using the yarn held double. I didn't see anywhere that I couldn't knit with the yarn double, so that's what I want to do. I want them to be toasty, squishy mittens. And I already finished the bulk of the knitting on the first one. It is super simple, fun, biased knitting pattern. The yarn colorway is Hidden Figures, which I realized after I finished this one that the yarn colorway is the NASA Story. I thought it was NASA Strong. It's NASA Story. And then, I don't know what made me think of the cover of Hidden Figures, but these are the colors, the blue, purple, lime, are the colors that the ladies are wearing on the cover of Hidden Figures, and that's about NASA. So that made sense to me why it was named that. So here it is. I put in it as it said. I followed the instructions. A piece of scrap yarn right there for the thumb, so I'll be cutting that out, doing an afterthought thumb, and then after I finish the second mitten, which I haven't joined in the round yet, I'm still biasing it, but once I finish this one, I'm going to take whatever yarn is left and then knit the cuffs as long as I possibly can. So I am holding the yarn double, and I'm using size 6s. Yeah, 6s. And I'm going to knit the cuffs in size 5s, I think I decided. And the thumb in the pattern calls for the thumb to be stockinette stitch rather than garter. So I might go down for that too, just to make it a little tighter. The fabric is a bit more see-through than I would like, but I'm thinking that with wearing and blocking, it'll plump up a little bit, and whatever. I'll wear them. I'll be happy to have them. And they match my black coat, so that's great. So there's that, Mustang mittens. These are, of course, following along, because even though the yarn is double the large needles, I knit socks on 0s, and so I'm knitting these on 6s. But even though I have to think every row, I'm still going super fast. So that's fun. That's one thing new on the needles. The other new on the needles, oh, sorry, I shook you. The other new on the needles is a sock. So we are hosting in the Ravelry Group, the AdoreKnit Ravelry Group, an orange along, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, Amy Beth had an orange along like 5-6 years ago, the Fat Squirrel. I think that's why the name seemed like, oh yeah, that's totally what I should call it. So I hope I'm not stepping on her toes. But I wanted to cast these on with some Croy Effects yarn. And you can see there's some orange. I have been just going to town on these. So knitting it on size 0 2mm needles. I made these socks originally, sorry I don't have blockers with me. I made them 4 stitches smaller than I normally would. And I got to about here-ish. I don't know. It was past the, I was past the toe section. And I felt like I was having a hard time. So I knit my socks 2x2 rib. And so the back is all stockinette. And on the front, I do 1 knit. And then I start my 2x2 rib. And then I end with 1 knit. So 32 stitches. And that gets me a knit on both ends, right? And starting a row with a knit instead of a purl is much easier for me anyways. That's like the way my brain has been trained. So when I get up to the leg and I'm going 2x2 rib all the way around the sock, I'll shift a stitch to the front of each needle. So I have 2 knit stitches and I'm working it that way. So, but I didn't do that. When I left off my 4 stitches, I essentially left off the knit, 2 knits and 2 purls out of it. So I was starting on a purl and it was just messing my brain up and I was not doing a great job remembering every time. And so then I'd end up tinking back. And so I just finally said, you know what? 1 extra stitch is not gonna make these super loose. So I added a knit about here. I added 1 extra stitch in, but I don't know exactly where it was, but I did. And I'm enjoying them. So this was, I don't know, 1 day's worth, and then that was the next. I'm sorry, it's been so long since we talked, I can't even remember if I told you about I was knitting these at a birthday party. That was the bulk of it. And then I worked on them at the beach yesterday. We had a beach day, it was super fun. And yeah, so I love the way they're transitioning. I felt like, because at 8.5, I wear a size 11, and at 8.5 inches, I usually put in a scrap for an afterthought heel, or I start increasing for heel, one or the other. So something's gonna happen at 8.5 inches, and I felt like this was 7. I was getting close and I wanted mindless knitting, so I cast on the other toe and I tried to line up the colors, and now that I'm looking at it, I think it's more lined up, yeah, with that section. I'm not sure how I did. The reddish orange color to start. So we'll see how closely matched they are. They don't have to be identical. I just like them similar-ish, you know, not mirror image, not flip-flop. So it's green down here and then red up here, or orange up here. So they're fun. So that's Patton's Croy. The colorway is Clover Colors. So great workhorse yarn. Because the yarn has this fun marled look, right? It looks a little bit like hand spun. It is 4 strands of colors that all the colors shift, and that's what gives it the really cool marled tweed effect. It's kind of splitty. I remember that from knitting it before. Like, I have to consciously be aware of making my stitches really clean, and if I feel myself snagging, looking down and catching. Whereas normally, either I don't split yarn, or if I do split a loop, I just keep going. It doesn't matter. But with this, it really shows if you split it. So, yeah. So that's fun, right? Now, the spring, sorry, my arm. Oh no, my FO. So, I finished my FO and I gifted it immediately. So before I did, I recorded this for you. Hi, from earlier in the week. I finished some socks that I didn't think I would finish this week, so that was exciting. These are the Wanda socks. I've been knitting them for a friend, and that stitch marker is where I was when last you saw them. So I finished the leg, finished the foot, put in an afterthought heel, and went up the leg. Not in that order, but just visually, that's what I did. These are an opal colorway mixed with a brown Patton's Croix colorway. I've blocked them, and they're on the blockers, but the white is a little bit worse for wear. Having been blocked, it's not as crisp and bright. Someone's yelling for me, and I'm just gonna ignore it. It's not as crisp and bright as it was to begin with. So, they did not look... I tried really hard to match up the striping sequences, and when I was knitting, I thought I was all set, but then when it was time to cut in my heels, the spot I needed to cut didn't line up perfectly on the two of them. So just a second, T, I'm recording. So this one, it's kind of centered in between the blue and brown stripes, and this one it's off. But you know what? These aren't for me. I don't have to look at them. They are finished through the magic of blocking. They're almost the same length. These socks, I think the second one I was knitting at a much tighter gauge. I worked on them while we were at Blitz. Either I was at a tighter gauge or on a smaller needle size. I'm not sure which is responsible for that, but they are a little bit different. You want to say hi, T?
Hi.
So there they are off the blockers, ready to be gifted. And here's Mr. Roland with his new haircut and food on your face.
Because he's eating a Pop-Tart.
Okay, out of here.
And Mr. Tristan's about to eat a whole one. Yay. And that's 2 bites.
Okay.
Mom, can we work?
Back to the future. Those are my Wandas, and I'm so glad to have them done. And I've already said I will knit Kathy another pair of socks. I think I'm going to do the Cookie Baudelaire's. I had knit those for my friend Pam and for my mom, like back to back, and I really enjoyed knitting them. And of the socks, my mom probably has 10 or 11 pairs of socks for me, and her Baudelaire's and her monkeys, both Cookie patterns, are her favorites to wear. So I was thinking I would knit Kathy a pair of those as well, and yeah, in a solid blue. So because I just wasn't 100% thrilled with the end of that project. So next, what's a whip? Where'd my notes go? Oh, they're down there. Okay. Oh, I did that wrong. Well, I went out of order. What's the point of writing notes if I can't seem to follow them? I'm so silly sometimes. Okay, so my whip that you've seen before is the spring cleaning shawl. You may be getting tired of me talking about this, and I will be honest that when I started knitting this, I did not realize I was committing to a 700 yard project. Like, I knew the yardage of each individual color, but I didn't put the numbers together and go, oh, yeah, 700 yards. I don't like to knit anything that's more than 400 yards. So it's gonna be a really huge shawl. Apologies, I don't remember if I've said this before, but when I hold it up to here, it goes below my belly button, so it's gonna be a really long shawl once it's blocked in terms of depth. Maybe I'll go heavy on the length. Yeah, how about I do that? Go heavy pulling it on the length, and with any knit fabric, your clothes, your t-shirts, your sweatshirts, any fabric, knit or store-bought knit, you've got 2 dimensions of stretch, and you can either be pulling it this way, in which case it'll shorten up, or if you pull it this way, it'll narrow in. So don't know if you know that if you're a new knitter, but just something to remember. And I know sometimes I'll get a t-shirt from a store and I really love it, and the more I wash it, it seems like it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and it's getting more roomy and comfortable fitting. Like, I'll think, oh, this fits so much better than it used to. Yeah, because it's gone up and gone out a little bit. So just side note tangent there. So yeah, last time I told you I wanted to finish the section, gotta get it right side out here, the section I was on, which was this yarn, which I did finish. So this is, yeah, that's where I was. And then I knit all this because it's a bias scarf. Sorry, it's all bunched up. But I did knit a wicked lot, guy, uh, on this, and I'm thrilled with how it looks. And what's fun about this shawl is once you finish sections 6 and 7, all you're gonna do is this pretty edging, the red edging that I've done previously, and then I think it's an I-cord bind off something. He's really good at giving you nice finished edges, and the side of the whole shawl has had this I-cord running up the side and along the bottom, so it's just gonna be wonderful when it's finished. This is a Stephen West pattern. I don't think I said that. I have knit 3 or 4 of his shawl patterns, and I'm always happy with the end results, and I'm always surprised at how big they are. What was the one I knit? There was one, anyways, yeah, it was huge. So then I knit section 7 before I knit 6, because I knew the color I wanted to do for the placement for 6, and I wasn't sure about 7. Nope, other way around. I knew what I wanted for 7, so I knit that first. Anyways, doesn't matter to you, right, left, right, whatever. But when it was time to go on the other side, I just caved, and I went with what was easiest, what I would look coordinating, what would coordinate the most in my mind, right? Because I really love the You're So Scrooged, which is what I based the whole thing off of. This is a Fiberknit Dye Works colorway, that self-striping, that I matched everything else to. And this is a spruce green, and this is not really spruce green, but it's got spruce in it, and so I thought that went nicely. And then I did the pewter colorway by Miss Babs, which is a nice soft gray, and then this had spruce in it, but not really. It's more of an aqua teal, and oh, there's a stitch issue right there. I'm gonna mark that right now, because I can't stand imperfections. It's really hard for me once I see them to let it go. So anyways, I'll go back and darn him in. So yeah, so I had like 3 colors I really wanted to use together, and I was good, and so I thought I'll just repeat that You're So Scrooged again. And the angle of the stripes, I think it's different than the bottom, right? You could see that the bottom stripes go this way and the stripes over here are going that way when I wear it. So I think they'll look cool, especially when I wrap it, and the tail, like wear it bandana style, and this striped tail will hang down next to the stripe in the center. Fingers crossed. That's really what I want it to look like. So I have always had this vision in my head of a plaid shawl, and like a woven shawl, but I want a plaid. And so while stripes aren't that, but they have the 2 different directions of the knit in them, of the stripes, I think that will be to the contrast color, the red edging. So, because I think the I-cord bind off is going to take me a little bit, because that's at least, I want to say 600 stitches across the whole top. So yeah, it's going to be really long. It's going to be way longer than than I am tall. So it's going to be a nice big chunky warm shawl, which I haven't knit in a while, and I don't wear that many, but it'll be nice to have a new one. So that is my whip that you've seen before. The knit-alongs. Let's talk about knit-alongs. For the orange along, join us. It runs until August 1st. We're not a big group, but I love to see what everybody's knitting and sharing, and I'm not real strict about orange. I think I said, yeah, yellow's like an orange, so that's fine. So join in, come on over. Anything, not anything goes, but I am participating in the splash pad party. It's one of my favorite knit-alongs, and I got something in my eye, guys. Thank God I don't have mascara on today. Yeah, you're getting me kind of basic, just lipstick. Anyways, splash pad party. So I really enjoy that. I've fallen behind in the chatter because life has just gotten really hectic right now, and I feel like it's just going to get worse because next week both boys are home for the rest of the summer. So, yeah. Splash pad party is super fun, and I set myself a goal, like just, hey, let's see, I've never completed it all the way to the end. I do the little challenges throughout. I enjoy that a bit more, or I have in the past. I'm enjoying the big major knit along too. So I counted it up for the finished objects I've had so far, and I have earned 19 out of the 50 points that I was trying to achieve. So yeah, I obviously use AdoreKnit stitch markers on everything. I don't think I have any sponsors project bags, but I am using Fiber Nymph, and I've got some, it's gone, sun-soaked, that I want to use. So I'll get there. And I think that runs through the end of July, maybe longer. I'm not quite sure. Stash Dash, I have done 2,015 yards, 1,842 meters, which is 37% of my 5K goal. So that shawl is going to be a big boost. And if I could just get myself to knit some more on that sweater, I should probably not let myself cast on a new shawl or cowl if I'm trying to get through that sweater. We'll see. So that's my knit along update. For a throwback project this week. Oh, sorry guys. This week's throwback project is the Derecho by Alison Green. So I knit this from March to May of 2007 with Derecho Remix. I feel like I've seen a lot of Derecho Remix on people's podcasts, and so this has gotten quite a lot of love and washing and wearing, and it's a great tee. It's warm, but it's airy. Does that make sense? So it's not like a dense sweater. Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. So this yarn is like everything but the kitchen sink. It's 4 or 5 different items, including some recycled cotton, I think, or recycled something. Anyways, Remix Light is what I used, and I knit it on 3s and 5s, and I knit the 46, and I used 2.5 skeins, and I think the pattern called for 4 skeins because I had a skein and more left when I was done, and I was like, do I take the skein back to the yarn shop? What do I want to do? So I ended up keeping it. This is super easy to wear. It is so it's got this fun yoke, yoke increases, right? Along the lines of the yoke increases. And then I believe it's A-lined. Yeah. And the sleeves, it doesn't have sleeves. It just caps off. And it's really, really cute, easy to wear, has worn amazingly. It looks like it just came off the needles. It looks brand new, and I don't do anything special when I wash it. Just lay it on my mesh hammock drying rack thing that I got from Knit Picks many, many, many moons ago. So this is a t-shirt that I really love that I could definitely knit in a smaller size. So I'm thinking at some point, if I do that, I will use the black remix I have for up at the top and like where the, I think that's a purl line. Yeah, every time you increase, there's some purl thing going on. But it goes to about here, so right over the top of where my bust starts, I'll switch to a different color. And since this took 2.5, I could probably just buy, or if I do the other color at the top, I could probably do one at the top and then use the 1.5 for the rest of the body of the black. So I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna make a smaller one because this is just a great go-to. And in the winter, right? So I've worn it in the summer with a tank top underneath, no problem. And in the winter, it looks super cute. I have a black and white striped long sleeve shirt, and so I'll wear it with that, and then my arms are all stripy. So it's fun. Recommend that. And that is the Derecho by Alison Green. Yeah, and my gauge was off. I don't know what that means from my notes. I think it means that I ended up with a bigger sweater because it was definitely not smaller than the 46 inch that I was knitting. I think it was closer to a 50-inch. And I still used less yarn than the pattern called for. And I knit it to the proper length and everything. Followed the instructions, no modifications. So let's roll into shop talk. So this past week, past 14 days, it's been like 2 weeks since we talked, I've had 2 mini updates in the shop. So lots of fun stuff going on there. I will insert a segment showing all the new things. Welcome to the early July AdoreKnit shop update. First up, we have our vacation themed sets. So these include rhinestone palm trees with matching ocean themed sets, a jeweled whale tail with a sailboat. Next up, we have our Minnie and Mickey sets in red and blue. So here you have the ears with the bow, the option with the blue bow. We have a red rhinestone, sorry the color on that picture is off, but red stone mouse head. Here's a blue stone mouse head. They're very sparkly and cute. I love Mickey, I like that one a lot. And a set of mouse ears. So there you go. With all the excitement around the new Aladdin live action movie, I thought we could use a few throwback Aladdin stitch marker sets. So first there's one with a book and the cute little lamp, and then there's one with Jasmine and Raja. And with the launch of season 3 of Stranger Things on Netflix, we were inspired to create this set based on the movie poster. And that's it. So for the next couple weeks, we're going to be offering free shipping on orders over $20. Thanks for checking us out. Take care. And last couple weeks, Mom and I have been working on a new bag update because those are going out the door. So I'd like to get some newness in the shop for that. So look for some new Harry Potter, Slytherin, Ravenclaw inspired. What else do we have? Yeah, it's probably going to take us a month, in all honesty. Like, we are not quick at I cut, she sews, and getting us together and getting us to focus and not chit chat the whole time is a bit of a challenge. So, they'll be cut. So my friends, we are nearing the end of the show, and I'm going to try and put in like a little tip or trick into every episode. So hopefully you got something out of the stretch length versus width. And I'm going to try and have some little tidbit like that in every episode going forward, because it's always fun to learn new things. And I so often assume that everybody knows what I know, and not everyone has been knitting as long as I have. And God knows there's so many things I learned from watching other people's podcasts. So there's that. Did I tell you I really have enjoyed catching up on Burly Pearly? Yeah, Paul. He is super cute. He knits interesting stuff. See, I've split a stitch here. Okay. He knits really interesting different items, and he has an exciting real life job. So it's just fun to listen to what's going on with him. So, and he's a Canadian, because for some reason I'm drawn to the Canadians. I don't know why, but I also love my Gigi Made It. I have gotten to the point where Sundays I'm like, oh, there's going to be a new Gigi. Saturdays are She Must Knit and Silly Fru, and Sundays are Gigi. Isn't it funny how that happens? Anyways, so I've been watching podcasts, and I finished season 8 of Stargate, right? Because I slowed down because I was near the end and I wanted to savor that. But near the end of season 8, I don't know if they got new writers, I don't know, but the story arc that they were on got really intense and really good, and I'm like 100% invested in the show right now, and that's all I want to do is watch Stargate. So, and they changed the leader of the team. In case you haven't watched it, I don't want to tell you too much, but they changed the leader, and I was fine with the casting change. It didn't upset me. Normally those things tend to make me grumble a bit, but no, it was fine. So it's really good right now, season 9. So there are only 10 seasons, I think. So I'm getting near the end, but I'm loving it. So that's going on. I am 1 hour away from finishing Children of Blood and Bone, which is by, did I write it down last week? I don't remember. But I realized the, by Tommy I can't say her last name. Anyways, I'll include it. I mentioned last time that the woman who narrates that on Audible won the 2018 Narrator of the Year award, and she is very good, and the story is very compelling, and I really, really enjoy the adventure that the main characters are on. It's a nice group of kids, young people, and there's a sequel. I found that out, so I'll probably read that right away. But the narrator is the same one that narrates The Hate You Give. So I had listened to that earlier this summer. So it's like, well, one, she has an African accent, and the other one, she has I want to say Georgia, maybe? Some city, inner city. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember what city it was in. Yeah. Maybe it was a suburb of DC, but I feel like it was like off of Atlanta. Anyways, she's a really great narrator. So, and that's good. I'm almost done. I can't wait to finish. And what else has happened? Steve is now 38. I'm older than he is, and it bugs me every year when we were the same year in school, same age almost, but every year my birthday falls and I'm 38 and he's still 37, and now we're both 38 for a while, so it's good. Yeah, my mom made this awesome campfire cake, which is perfect bonfire cake. Steve loves to have fires. In the summer, my Instagram feed is always full of knitting by the fire pictures, because outside is his happy place, and he likes a fire. It gives him something to do, I think, more than anything. So Steve's aunt and uncle and cousins that are our age are up here visiting for a week. They rent a beach house, and for the week every year. They're from Massachusetts, and that's something people very often do from Massachusetts. They'll come up and they'll vacation at Hampton Beach. There's lots of stuff there in terms of I don't know how to describe it. There's things to do. It's coastal. It's an couple hour drive away, and it's not too hot because you're north in New Hampshire. So like yesterday it was 73 at the beach. It was perfect with a breeze. It was gorgeous. I actually at the end of the day got cold and was like, okay, I have to put on more clothes. Like, can't do this anymore. But yeah, so they always come up, like since as long as Steve's cousin has been alive, so at least 38 years. But so I had a really good time. I sat with Steve's uncle, who's my favorite, and he and I chatted, and he's retired now, so he has lots of stories and projects. He does stained glass, is that what it's called? Whatever the glass, and you like solder the pieces together and make pictures out of it. He's done that his whole life. He did their their kitchen cabinets all across the top with this beautiful vine flower pattern, and then they have lights inside the cabinet, so at night they leave those on, and it's like their little night light in the kitchen, and they're just so pretty. But anyways, so he was telling me about what he was working on with that, and some old family stories that I'm sure his kids are tired of hearing, but I'd never heard, so it was fun. And Steve and his cousin Matt played in the ocean with the boys for 2-3 hours, just like nonstop. Castles, bearing, rolling, throwing the boys in the water, jumping waves, body surfing. Like, they just played and had a blast. And at one point I looked at Uncle Ken and I was like, you know, it's kind of like my two dads over there. Like, there's a dad for each boy to play with. So they had a really good time, and they traded off boys, and sometimes it was all 4 of them together, and it was just really fun to watch. And yeah, I throw it, but I can't throw it very far, you know, like just under the armpits up out of the water. Oh, we got hit.
your legs
You gotta
stiff.
train him.
Yeah, keep your legs stiff, dude. There you go. Your body surfer.
Exhausting for the boys, so they slept well last night for sure. And earlier, it's been a while since Tristan and I recorded this, but Roland goes to camp at University of New Hampshire. And so that town is a college town, Durham, New Hampshire. And every morning I drop him off, pick him up, he comes home. It's a day camp, rec camp. Sorry, I need a tank top. So it's a recreational swimming, and then this week it's travel, and it goes back and forth. And previous summers when I was working / sick, he went the last 2 summers. He's gone for the full summer to this camp, or a camp for the full summer. So this year it's like, honey, I'm home. I can't really justify the expense of sending you to camp for 10 weeks. So we decided we could do 3 weeks at the beginning of the summer while Tristan's still at preschool. And so we're taking him and dropping him off every morning and evening. And Tristan's doing body phonics at the university 2 days a week. So he's with me in the afternoons. Anyways, so much. But we noticed leaving one day that Durham had a lot of knitting, a lot of yarn bombing around. And so the next day I was like, okay, it's 8 a.m. It's not warm yet. It's not too hot for me to like melt and not be able to handle myself because it's so hot. I don't do well in the heat. So Tristan and we each took a phone, because we have a phone that they use basically as an iPad, but we have a second phone, old phone. So we each had a phone and we walked around Durham and we took pictures and videos of all the different pieces of yarn bombing. He had a blast. And so he learned what yarn bombing is, and he was really excited, and we had to come home and try knitting. Total failure at that, not ready yet. He's 5, and it was just, he could do it, like he knit a row and he handled it pretty well, but he was really upset when he was done that it wasn't a big piece of yarn bombing that he could put on a tree after doing 1 row. So he hasn't quite conceptualized it. Like, he sees me knit all the time, but he doesn't realize how much time I'm actually putting into the finished things that I make. So we'll try again. I left it out. It was some worsted weight yarn it was orange, neon orange. That's what he picked. I let him pick with, I think I grabbed size 11 bamboo needles. So it would be like really easy to hold on to and manipulate, because he wanted to use my zeros and that wasn't going to happen. But it was fun to share that with him, to share yarn bombing and all the different artistic installations basically that they did. So we noticed that they lasted for about 2 weeks, and then the store that actually did the yarn bombing, or I don't know if they did the yarn bombing, but they put little sayings on a lot of the knitted pieces. It must have been in connection. They were all taken down after about 2 weeks. So I still haven't been into the store. I need to go check it out, because I had no idea that Durham had, I don't think it's a yarn shop. It said Market on Main or something like that. So I think it's a craft shop or something. So they were, from the look of them, mostly acrylic. They were crocheted, there were rainbows, and anyways, you could see the video, but it was so fun to do. So I'm gonna let the video run. It's about 6 minutes long. If you're interested, check it out. If you're not, that's it for this week. So take care, and I will see you in about 10 days or so. I may have some guest stars, guest boys over the next couple weeks, or I may be hiding myself away for a moment of silence to record with you guys. So we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. Take care. Happy knitting. So what are we doing? A scavenger hunt?
A scavenger knitting picture hunt. And look, it even has a thing around it. This one's easy, just like the other one, because it doesn't have any leaves.
Yeah.
And there's no sun, so I don't get hot, so I can get, and there's no good place to put flowers, so I don't have to be far away.
Corner that we just can't see yet, or on the other side of this block. So this is the Makery in Durham. It's their handiwork. I've never heard of it, but I'm assuming.
Look at
Yeah. What?
now what's
I'm assuming it's they've got yarn. So we've got to go check them out. Today I am excited about everything. True for Tristan.
You were right, Mom. This was gonna be fun.
Yeah.
This
Oh.
one's super pretty.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
very
big one.
colorful with fun
It's
fur.
the only biggest one I've seen. But here's another big one.
Yeah?
Wait, let's see what's on the back. It has something on the back.
What's the back have?
It has a rainbow. We need
A
to
rainbow. Nice.
We need to take a. We need to back it through picture.
Huh. Hey Tris, do you see that across the road?
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, we need to take a picture.
Okay, take a picture of that one too.
It's hard to take it because it's
Best
so far
falafel
away.
place in
No, let's go
New
take a
Hampshire.
picture.
Oh, there's another one. Does that have pizzas on it?
Yeah, it has pizza.
Ah! Life is better when you're laughing. And how many did we see?
14.
No, more than that. How many?
I don't know.
You just counted all your pictures and said,
24.
wow, that's a lot of yarn bombing. So impressive. We have to go in this store. All right, what are we doing next, Tristan?
I'm going to put
Going